Hello everyone, Nolan Staff, Mobi Fitness. Let's maximize our time and effectiveness with this kettlebell workout. This workout is called the Deep 6 Kettlebell Complex. It is effective because you are performing challenging kettlebell exercises that demand full body strength, stability, power, and mobility. So for those of you who don't know, a kettlebell complex is a series of moves that strings into each other. You get no rest. You perform the first exercise, then the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on, right into each other with no rest. The rest comes in between rounds. So the Deep 6 Kettlebell Complex consists of 6 exercises performed for 5 repetitions each, except for the last 2 exercises, The last 2 exercises will be performed for 1 repetition, and you'll see why. Now, I recommend doing anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds of this complex. You can do less if you are doing more movements in your particular workout that you're doing, or you can even do more if 5 just isn't good enough, or maybe your kettlebell that you have access to is a bit lower of a weight. I do suggest a medium weight. You don't want to go too heavy because then you're going to smoke yourself way too soon. You don't want to go too light because then, well, what are we doing? We're just going through the motions. However, use what you have available. If you need to throw in less reps, that's fine because you have a heavier kettlebell. If you have a lighter kettlebell, you need to throw in more reps or more rounds. Go ahead and do that, whatever works for you and what you have access to. The first exercise that you will be performing is the kettlebell swing. Now, to perform the kettlebell swing, go ahead and take a shoulder width stance. Place the kettlebell about a foot length in front of you. You will proceed to hike the kettlebell back between your legs and then forcefully power the kettlebell up vertically. You want to think vertically, sending the bell up, not so much out, but up. Also, think about crushing grapes or jumping, but not really jumping, crushing the ground beneath your feet when you go up for that thrust, really sending your power down into the ground. Also, snap your hips at the top of the movement, squeeze the glutes for that full hip extension. On the way down, imagine your hamstrings as rubber bands, feeling that stretch in your hamstrings and in your glutes, and then forcefully reversing the motion, sending the energy up, stomping the feet into the ground, snapping the glutes. Remember, this is a hip hinge motion. We are bending at the hip. It is not a squat. We are not squatting. It is more bending at the hip hinge motion. Exercise number 2 is the kettlebell snatch. Now, this is just like the same mechanics as your kettlebell swing, but we are finishing with the bell in a different position, the overhead position. So the setup will be the same as the swing. You are still using that foundational hip hinge thrust, sending the bell vertically. You really want to think vertically. Also, keep the bell close into your body, as if you were zipping up a zipper to a jacket or a coat, right? You're going into a high pull, and then you are punching through at the top to finish, making sure that hand is going all the way through the handle or the window of the bell, finishing in a locked out straight position up top. The third exercise will be a kettlebell clean and press. So this is 2 movements into 1 exercise. The first is a clean, right? So we have that kettlebell swing mechanic going on, keeping the bell close into our body like we're zipping up our zipper to the jacket or the coat, and then finishing in the front rack position. We want to shoot our hand through the window and have that bell close into our body, resting in the front rack position right on our chest area. Keep the elbow in close to the body, not out to the side, making sure that hand is all the way through the window and the bell is resting on the forearm wrist area. The second part of this exercise is the press. So once we achieve that good front rack position, we want to press straight overhead. Keep the elbow in close to the body, not all the way out away. That's going to put unnecessary stress on the shoulders. We want to keep it in close and press straight up into an overhead position, and then reverse that movement down back to the front rack and then into another swing. The fourth exercise that we have is the front squat. So we will get the kettlebell up into that front rack position, and then we will proceed to go ahead and perform a squat. Now, with a squat, fairly straightforward here. Remember, we want to keep the weight in our heel and midfoot area, not on our toes, because then that puts unnecessary stress on our knees. Also, think about opening up the knees and the ankles. Externally rotate. We don't want our knees or ankles to cave in, because again, that's going to put unnecessary stress on our knees, and over time will cause knee injuries, and we do not want that. So think open knees, open ankles, pushing through the midfoot and the heel, keeping your chest up throughout the entire range of movement. Finishing with squeezing your glutes at the top. Exercise number 5 and 6 were those two exercises that I was talking about, where we're only doing 1 rep of each, but you're gonna see why here in the video. So the first part, number 5, is called the get down. So you will start with the kettlebell completely overhead in the locked out position, and you will do half of basically a Turkish get up, right? But we're getting down first. So we're standing up, bell locked overhead, and we are getting down. So keep your eyes fixated on the bell overhead at all times. This will help with coordination, stability, balance while you're going through this full cycle of movements, right? The first step to this movement is to get down on one knee. So the opposite leg of your extended overhead arm, you will lower that knee to the ground. Once you are stable and in a kneeling position, you will then lower that opposing hand to the ground, still keeping the hand and eyes fixated overhead. You will then get up on 2 feet there, extend your hips, really use your glutes, squeeze your glutes, and move that knee through that hole and up into an extended position with your 2 legs out. You will then lower your glute, your butt to the floor, still keeping that other hand on the floor, still keeping the extended hand, eyes overhead. And then the final movement will be lowering your upper body to the floor. Now the final movement, number 6, get up, is the reverse of that get down movement, right? So now instead of getting down, we're getting up into the fully extended standing position, right? So move number 1 is getting our upper body off the floor. Use that free hand to prop yourself up there. Then you will get on 2 feet and your hand in that 3-point stance with the bell still overhead, squeezing the glutes. You will shoot that opposing leg through that window, getting into a kneeling position, leaving that free hand up off the floor, using it for stability, for balance. You can send it out to the side there. And then you will stand up from the kneeling position, still keeping that bell and arm fixated overhead, and you will completely get up, stand up, and complete that rep. Now, you will do all of those exercises and repetitions on one side. Once you complete all of that, you will move on to the other side, do the same thing, and then you are allowed to rest. Now, very quickly, you are going to realize, oh wow, this is a challenging complex, especially if you use too heavy of a weight. You might get through a few reps, a few exercises, or halfway through, and you'll be like, oh wow, I completely overestimated how difficult this complex can be. That being said, if you are able to perform all of these movements and this kettlebell complex, it is a great one to do. You are doing big bang for your buck exercises with full body, legs, shoulders, stability, mobility, strength, power, Everything is incorporated into this complex, and it is a great one to incorporate into your kettlebell training. So that is the Deep 6 Kettlebell Complex workout. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. If you want to see more kettlebell videos, kettlebell content, fitness content in general, go ahead and subscribe. If you are new to kettlebell training, go ahead and click the link down below to pick up my free Beginner's Guide to Kettlebell Training ebook. Has everything that a beginner needs to know about kettlebell training in there. Great resource for beginners. Thank you to everyone who watched and made it this far. The support is awesome, and I appreciate all of you. Until next time, thank you for watching.